VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome to Crime Prevention 101 with host Susan Bartelstone. We're so happy you've joined us this weekend. Over the next hour, you'll learn the tips, tricks, and vital information that'll help you keep yourself confident and safe. Now, here's the host of Crime Prevention 101, Susan Bartelstone.
Hello. Welcome to Crime Prevention 101. This is the personal safety radio show with an optimistic perspective on a sober subject, and I am pleased, honored, and privileged to be here with you once again this week. And I hope you had a safe week since we were last together. Now, if you happen to be new to this show, and you just kind of blundered your way here, found your way here by accident or whatever, I would like to tell you a little bit about what we do. And this being a crime prevention show, I'm talking about crime prevention. I'm talking about the trends that you're going to want to know about. I'm talking about people in the headlines. I'm talking about topics that will help you stay safe. And if you email me your personal safety concerns, I will help you find options and make a safety plan for you and maybe have you call in and share what we talk about on the air with people so they can get help too. I'm going to give you lots and lots of safety tips. I've got resources, practical information, all this good stuff. Now, today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's very, very close to my heart. I'm going to be talking about self-defense, because I was a self-defense teacher back in the day when I began many years ago. And one of the hottest programs around is called Just Yell Fire. And my guest today is Chad Von Dette, who is a street fighting coach with 10 years of martial arts experience, and he is the co-creator, along with a teenager named Dallas Jessup, of the Just Yell Fire program. I'm just so pleased that I have them here. Now, Just Yell Fire was founded in 2006. It's a nonprofit organization. It's based out of Portland, Oregon, and they do programs aimed at young girls from 11 to 19 years old, and it teaches them all sorts of personal safety awareness tricks, street fighting skills that will get them out of attack situations. It focuses on dating violence and gives them a dating bill of rights. And since it was founded in 2006, Just Yell Fire has taught self-defense skills to more than 1 million girls in 41 countries. I mean, awesome. They have won 9 awards, including the Points of Light Award. That went to Dallas. And my guest today, Chad Von Dette, has been a featured expert on self-defense for teenage girls on all these big TV shows, Montel Williams and ABC News and Fox and People Magazine. Now he's on Crime Prevention 101. And Chad is also the founder and director of California's Viper Academy, and he teaches advanced Filipino street fighting, which you know I'm going to be talking to him about that. Chad, welcome to Crime Prevention 101.
Thank you for having me, Susan.
It is my pleasure. Let's start a little bit with your background. Tell me about your background. Talk a little bit about Filipino street fighting.
Well, Filipino street fighting is kind of an umbrella term for no rules street fighting. Just Yell Fire, we took probably the most simple techniques that we felt could make size and strength irrelevant and would be simple to teach somebody with no martial art experience and give them the tools to be able to defend themselves in a short period of time.
Now, how did you get involved with Just Yell Fire?
I had done some training with Dallas's father. He was doing business here in San Diego, California, and he liked the training so much, he asked if I would train his 13-year-old daughter who had just gotten her black belt in Taekwondo. And at the time, I was a little apprehensive because of the nature of the techniques that I taught. I had not really taught any youth students, and he had flown her in, and we met, and she was just a wonderful kid, and she convinced me to take her on as a student, and I did, and she was one of my best. And
it's interesting that she had already had a black belt in Taekwondo, and yet she felt the need for more street fighting skills. And this is why I'm raising this point here. There is a big difference between self-defense skills and martial arts, correct?
There's quite a difference. Yes, the traditional martial arts to earn a black belt can take anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and there's a lot of forms that are involved and a lot of tradition behind the art. When we're talking about self-preservation, this is not being in a ring. This is not padded mats. This is not having any rules. And you need to have a skill set that is going to be able to give you the opportunity to get away and run. And if you're a 100-pound, 120-pound girl, and you got a 200 or 250-pound man that wants to take you, you got to have the tools that are going to be able to cause acute pain quickly to give you the opportunity to run.
And that is the basis of self-defense skills. It's bottom line. It's down and dirty. It doesn't take years of training. A non-martial artist really can learn these techniques. Correct?
That's correct.
Right. And this is one of I think martial arts are really good. I've talked about this a lot. If you want other things in addition to fighting skills. Right?
Yeah, self-confidence, patience, self-improvement. There's a lot of wonderful things from taking traditional classes. Not only, they do sparring, they do sport events. Taekwondo is in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a wonderful thing for people to be involved in a wonderful sport like that. They teach it in Korea in the schools. Most of the kids, by the time they graduate high school, most of them have a black belt in Taekwondo.
But there is a big difference between an actual attack, and especially an attack on a woman or a girl, than there is in a very structured martial arts sparring kind of session. And many times, and you and I both, I'm sure, have come across this, that really highly trained martial artists were not prepared in an actual street fight, and may not have come out as well as they would have liked. So a self-defense program kind of takes the bottom line from the martial arts techniques and teaches it in a way that a non-martial artist really can learn it in a short period of time. How is the Just Yell Fire program set up? How many weeks or hours, or how does that actually work?
As far as the certification program?
Well, what a young girl would take. I don't know. Do they get certified when they?
What we're doing now, the evolution of Just Yell Fire. It started off as a movie and a free film that people could get from the internet, and added, if they weren't taking any self-defense course at the time, to give them the tools to change their concept of how they view self-defense. And instead of learning a myriad of techniques and, well, if he does that, then you do this, or if he does this, then you do that, when your heart is pounding and your fine motor skills go out the window because people don't expect a random act of violence to happen to them, and when it does, you want to be able to have the pre-programmed those targets on the body, the eyes, the ears, the groin, and have some simple techniques that are already programmed into your muscle memory, into your psyche. So this way, if you need to call upon it, whether your technique is flawless, you're getting to areas on the body that are very vulnerable that can give you the time to get away, safely.
Now, do Just Yell Fire have classes, or is it basically learning from the movie, or how does it work?
Basically, it was a high school project that Dallas had seen the film footage of a young girl by the name of Carly Bruscia, who was taken by a man at a car wash in Florida. and it was the last time she was ever seen. And we don't know what the man said to her, but she had walked away with him on the camera and was found, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, dead in a church parking lot. And she thought, that doesn't have to happen. And that was her focus for the film, was I want to do something to make a difference and make it free and ask people to help us. And that's where it started, was really Mom Behind the Video Camera, and it blossomed into a $600,000 production of all donations. And people that saw what we were trying to do and accomplish and spread the word and give people an awareness, of how to be safe in worst case scenario. If you find yourself in a situation, here's some simple techniques to help you get out and practice. And that's really how it started, and now it's evolved into a lot of demand has come in, people that want this program. They want to be able to teach it and want to have the skill set, and that's where our Train the Trainer program has now evolved. And we just did our first Train the Trainer program at MIT in Cambridge. We went out to Boston just a few weeks ago and taught it there. We had a wonderful reception, and now MIT is actually going to be teaching the Just Jail Fire program as an accredited course at the university.
Oh, that is so exciting. So when people go through this certification program, they are now certified to actually go out and teach the Just Jail Fire program wherever they want, or does it have to be in a college?
No. What we're doing is we're certifying adults on how to teach awareness, safety, the dating bill of rights, and also the street fighting self-defense techniques to teens. So, but along with that, we have an entire curriculum. A lot of requests come in from other martial arts schools that want to reach out to their community and be able to empower the young girls in their area. But they don't have necessarily a program that can bring girls in that entices them, or many teenage girls don't want to be martial artists or do a program of taking traditional arts.
Or adults.
Or adults.
Or adults as well. Absolutely. That's what the next best thing is, a good self-defense program. Chad, we're coming up on our first break, so let's hold that thought. We're going to come back. I'll talk some more about this certification program, and we're going to have some self-defense tips for you as we're going along. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned.
News, opinion, passion. Your voice counts. Call toll-free 1-866-472-5787. 1-866-472-5787. VoiceAmerica.com. There's a purpose revolution sweeping the world. Now more than ever before, in the midst of so many things they could do, people are asking what they should do. Since 1991, John Stanko has been helping people all over the world answer these questions. Now, John is bringing his purpose message and philosophy to Voice America, where you will hear from people of purpose like John, who have found what they were created to do. Join John and his guests from around the world every week on his show, Your Purpose Quest, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Right here on Voice America. After more than 17 years' experience teaching safety skills to thousands of women and men, crime prevention and personal safety expert Susan Bartelstone concluded that by thinking and responding quickly, ideally within 20 seconds, potentially violent criminal encounters can be prevented. Using techniques from many different disciplines and illustrated by 60 real-life examples and success stories, Susan shows how it's done in her new book, Think Fast and Prevent a Violent Crime: How to Respond to Danger in 20 Seconds or Less. Check out www.fightsafe.com FightSafe.com for more information. You'll also find information there on Susan's upcoming Crime Prevention 101 personal safety teleseminars. Think fast, talk fast, fight smart would stress the many opportunities you have to deter or defuse a criminal encounter and how to use your brains instead of your muscles in a fight. Look for the new book information or sign up for Susan Bartelstone's personal safety seminars at www.fightsafe.com today.
Adding fractions is nothing.
For real?
Look, these are denominators. You multiply this one so that it's the same as that, then you add them up.
Man, that's easy.
Charles Bennett dreamed of returning to the old neighborhood as a teacher, but without money for college, only half of his dream came true. He's back in the old neighborhood.
Well, enough math. I gotta deliver these sandwiches.
Please support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. A message from the UNCF and the Ad Council.
Have you ever thought about having your own internet talk show? Well, if you said yes, then click About Us. Then click Be a Host to get more information. Or just call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417.
Say that again?
480-294-6417. VoiceAmerica.com.
You're listening to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone. We invite you to share your stories, tips, or suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover, and Susan will address some of these on future shows. Send your story or idea to solutions@fightsafe.com. That email address again is solutions@fightsafe.com. Now back to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone.
Welcome back, everybody. I am talking with Chad Von Dette, who is street fighting coach and co-creator of the Just Yell Fire self-defense program. And we're going to be giving you a lot of tips today, in addition to talking about the program. And I just want everyone to know that you can find these tips. I'm going to be posting them on my DearSafetySolutions.com website. So make sure you check there. And, of course, JustYellFire.org. We're going to talk more about how you can get that movie from them. And as I say every show, if you are already a survivor of the kind of crime that we're talking about today on this show, or any other kind of crime, please understand that nothing that happened to you was your fault. Even if you think you used bad judgment in a situation and left yourself vulnerable, that is never an excuse for a crime or for violence. And it's so important that you call yourself a survivor and not a victim, and understand that with the proper professional help, you can put what happened into perspective and get on with your life. So now we're back talking with Chad, and let's talk a little bit more about this certification process. Now, how many people did you have in that MIT program?
We had about 15 there at the program, and we limited to 20.
And they were college students, or where did they come from?
These were educators. We had some come from Maryland, up in Fort Meade, from the NSA. They're going to be teaching that the Just Yell Fire program there as well. At the military base, these women work in the sexual crimes unit there. We also had educators there that work at MIT as well that are going to be teaching the program during April, during the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And so they're putting that as a course. We had a gentleman come down from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He drove 13 hours, and he runs a nonprofit organization teaching women self-defense there, and was looking to have a program and a new curriculum to add to his school as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Talk a little bit about what the program is. What do you teach in Just Yell Fire?
Well, the primary focus of the program is on awareness and safety and the dating rights. Self-defense techniques are really our last resort. and we're using the ones that are simple, that we can teach very quickly. So they have a syllabus that they can work from, but they also have lesson plans, and that's what a lot of schools need, is to have that curriculum to be able to engage the students and the kids. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we have here for a lesson plan is to hand out the Dating Bill of Rights to the students, and then we like to have them do a fun creative poster, and use some of their artistic talent and do a small prize. And this poster represents one of the Dating Bill of Rights and helps the girls get in touch with that and get in touch with their feelings, and also help them familiarize themselves, a little bit better with that.
And it's very important to remind people, that you're talking about girls from 11 up to 19, maybe. So
Correct.
These are young kids, and you've got to do this in a way that you're not going to scare them to death. And I like the idea that you're kind of making it kind of fun and engaging for them, and I think that's a really excellent way to go. Talk a little bit about some of the awareness skills that you focus on.
Well, as far as some of the awareness skills, we go into safe jogging tips, the various ATM dangers, places to avoid, tips for home safety. In the classroom, we want the kids, have them brainstorm. What are some of the ways that they can be safer at home? Have they ever experienced where they felt they were in danger at home? And how did they handle it? Don't use hide-a-keys outside. Predators, they know the typical hiding places for that stuff. Keep the doors in the house locked. Things that may seem like common knowledge to us as adults are not common knowledge to teenage kids.
Sure. Absolutely.
We suggest, if you're out jogging or you're going for a walk, and you have the iPod, just have one of your the earplugs in, not both. This way you can hear oncoming traffic, dangers that may be around that you're not aware of. And kids don't think about that. But if we make them aware and don't do it in a scary way, make it kind of fun and give them the opportunity to do some research themselves, then they're able to feel empowered and understand a little bit more of some of the dangers that are out there, and realize that it's not always the big bad scary guy that is the one that grabs you.
And that, of course, is extremely important, because indeed that the stranger jumping out from behind the bushes is the one that we mostly hear about in the media. And you see like that video of that young girl being taken away. But in actuality, Chad, it's going to be somebody that that is most likely going to be attacking you. Someone, I think 75% of all rapes or assaults are from somebody that you know. And it could be a date, it could be a friend of a friend, could be someone that lives next door, someone who delivers your pizza, right?
Yeah.
And I know that you must concentrate on when you talk about awareness, that's what people need to be aware of. The person that could be giving you the problem could be somebody that you really know and have a trusting relationship with.
And that's one of the reasons we did have a party scene in the Just Yell Fire movie, where there is a date rape scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough for all the mothers there to watch their kids do this. It was very emotional. But that's it happens in a social network, and especially we don't want to discourage kids and teenagers from dating and parties. This is their time to assert their independence and they're learning to interact in social groups. And unfortunately, current dating realities, unfortunately, are coupled with drug and alcohol, sometimes violence in the relationships. But instead of focusing on that, we think kind of a more effective methods once parents really have decided that their child can attend parties or dating is to empower them with the Dating Bill of Rights and give these, so the girls understand that that they have a right to choose and keep whatever friends that they want. They have the right to disagree with a date, and they can refuse to date anyone that they have.
I'm actually looking at, I got a copy of the Dating Bill of Rights, and I think this is really important, this point. It says, I have a right to, and then it lists a number of things that a young girl would have the right to do. And one of them is, I have a right to refuse a date.
Yes.
Right? I have a right to suggest activities. I have a right to refuse any activities, even if my date is excited about them. That's extremely important. I have a right to have my own feelings and be able to express them.
Yes.
Right? I have a right to say my friend is wrong and his actions are inappropriate. How many times? I mean, I know I did it back in the day. You just go along. You don't want them to not like you. You don't say what you're feeling uncomfortable. You don't express it. It's Dating Bill of Rights. I have the right to say my friend is wrong and his actions are inappropriate. I have the right to have my limits and values respected. Extremely important. I love this. I have the right to refuse affection and not be pressured into doing something I don't really feel comfortable doing. Right?
Absolutely.
I have the right to be heard. I have the right to refuse to lend money. I have the right to refuse sex anytime for any reason. I have the right to have friends and space aside from my partner. And I think this is also really, really important. This is Dating Bill of Rights. Let's talk about a little bit of how they can get the Dating Bill of Rights and the video.
Well, the video is free for download at justjailfire.com, and we send out DVD copies for free as well to any girl that doesn't have internet access anywhere in the world. And when I mean free, we don't charge any shipping or handling. If they don't have internet access, through the donations that come in to Just Jail Fire, we're able to send those out. But for anybody that has internet access, they can watch the film right there on the website. And
I've seen the film, and it's a very inspiring film. How can people get the Dating Bill of Rights? Is that they only have to get that through taking the course, or?
No, the Dating Bill of Rights is part of the film. When you're watching the film, Dallas and Catherine at the end of each scene will say each one of the rights that they have. I have the right to choose and keep my friends. I will have to check to see if there's actually a PDF file or a printable file of the Dating Bill of Rights on Just Jail Fire.
Well, that was sent to me, so because I asked for it, but I would love to see that made available to people. I mean, it's just such important stuff that's in there, and there's also I have the responsibility. I think we'll talk a little bit about what you have the responsibility to do in situations. Talk a little bit about preventing date rape. We're gonna cover this. I have a question to ask you about the name Just Yell Fire. How did you decide on that name, or Jessup, or who did it?
It was something my father had told me about 23 years ago. And when I was a young boy, my dad is now a retired firefighter. He was with the Los Angeles Fire Department for 35 years.
Okay, now I'm getting a connection here.
Okay.
All right.
And he had worked in some tough areas in Watts, Compton area. So there was a lot of violence and gangs in some of those areas. And, he told me, he said, son, if you were ever being attacked or someone were chasing you, down the street, he goes, don't yell for help. A lot of people, are complacent. They don't want to get involved. They're afraid they may get hurt themselves. And he said, yell fire. And he said that'll get people's attention. Whether they help you or not, you may not know, but it'll bring eyes to the situation, and it'll bring witnesses, to the crime, and may possibly discourage that person from trying to continue their attack. And so that's where the name came from.
So when you and Dallas were putting this together, that you suggested to call it Just Yell Fire, right?
It just kind of came, don't yell help, don't yell rape, just yell fire, and that's simply just where the name of it came from.
Well, we're coming up to our second break. I've got an interesting wrinkle to talk to you about that when we come back. So let's just take our quick break. We're going to be doing more about self-defense. We've got more tips coming up. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned.
Ask the experts. Call toll-free right now, 1-866-472-5787. And ask our All-Star team to answer your question. That's 1-866-472-5787.
Thank you for calling.
VoiceAmerica.com. After more than 17 years' experience teaching safety skills to thousands of women and men, crime prevention and personal safety expert Susan Bartelstone concluded that by thinking and responding quickly, ideally within 20 seconds, potentially violent criminal encounters can be prevented. Using techniques from many different disciplines and illustrated by 60 real-life examples and success stories, Susan shows how it's done in her new book, Think Fast and Prevent a Violent Crime, How to Respond to Danger in 20 Seconds or Less. Check out www.fightsafe.com for more information. You'll also find information there on Susan's upcoming Crime Prevention 101 personal safety teleseminars. Think fast, talk fast, fight smart, which stress the many opportunities you have to deter or defuse a criminal encounter and how to use your brains instead of your muscles in a fight. Look for the new book information or sign up for Susan Bartelstone's personal safety seminars at www.fightsafe.com today.
In the spirit of Have Couch Will Travel, Dr. Carol Lieberman creates a haven of sanity in an increasingly insane world. Each day we are bombarded with news of events that have never crossed our wildest nightmares. Society is spiraling out of control and everyone is reeling from it. But now there's an answer. The best way to keep sane in this insane world is to tune in to Dr. Carol's Couch on Voice America. Dr. Carol, a certified media psychiatrist, will broadcast live from her Beverly Hills office every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Call or log in and get help with whatever is sending you reeling, whenever you need a soothing voice to calm and advise you. That's Dr. Carol's Couch every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time here on America's Voice, voiceamerica.com.
Hey, how you doing? Educational videos, top quality, right here.
You'll never hear anyone selling education on the street.
Yo, what's up, baby? Want to learn some history? I got live learning, beautiful books inside.
And don't expect anyone to just offer you an education.
Who needs a high school diploma, huh?
And fortunately, you can't buy a diploma from some guy with a briefcase. But there is one way you can get the educational skills you and your family need for free, with free family learning programs. Call 1-877-FAMLET-1 for information on free GED, computer training classes, and other family learning programs. That's 1-877-FAMLIT-1.
Check it out, check it out. Want your GED right here, guaranteed, ma. Come on, check it out.
After all, you can't get your education on the street. Free family learning programs from the National Center for Family Literacy. The first step to a better life. Brought to you by the National Center for Family Literacy and the Ad Council.
Talk, talk, talk. That's all we do is talk. Yeah! If you'd like to talk, call us toll-free right now at 1-866-472-5787. 1-866-472-5787.
That's it. That's it.
VoiceAmerica.com.
You're listening to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone. We invite you to share your stories, tips, or suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover, and Susan will address some of these on future shows. Send your story or idea to solutions@fightsafe.com. That email address again is solutions@fightsafe.com. Now back to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone.
Welcome back. I'm talking with Chad Von Dette from the Just Yell Fire Self-Defense Organization. And just again to remind you, Just Yell Fire, the film, is available as a free download from their website, justyellfire.com. Or they will also send you a free DVD mailed to anyone who doesn't have Internet access. Before the break, we were talking about the name Just Yell Fire. And I have to tell you that is a little bit of a controversial topic in the self-defense world. I don't know if you're aware of that at all.
It's the only disagreement that I've had any emails or have come across from anything in the film. Nobody has ever complained about the techniques. An eye jab or an ear slap. The only thing, you're right, that seems to have controversy is what you yell.
I totally. Now here's. I want to actually, in a very just informative way, bring up the controversy and why.
Okay.
And I want to also exonerate the film because I saw the film. Now, your dad was absolutely right. If you are trying to get help from someone else, when you are in a situation that is dangerous to you, and you yell, help, 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 everyone's going to freeze in fear and panic. That's called the bystander effect, right? We know it well. And they're going to, and if they don't freeze, they might actually move away because they don't know what's going on. They don't know how to help. So your dad's suggestion, and the police have adopted this too. A lot of police say yell fire because, it's a fire. People will turn and they won't run away. Or maybe they'll call the fire department. But some of us who teach self-defense feel that yelling has a much more powerful purpose than just to try to alert a passerby to help us or to call help. When you are terrified and scared, the one thing that can break through fear and panic is a really good, powerful, what we call warrior yell. And I always used to teach people to yell, get away from me, or keep your hands to yourself, or leave me alone, or no. Martial artists, like you and I, we did something called the ki. It's a spirit call. And what it does, do you do ki in Filipino martial arts?
We don't do a ki, but I understand what you mean, your chi and bring.
Right, it's to call your spirit, to call up your warrior inside, and to break through that fear and panic so that if nobody comes to help you, you're not frozen in fear and you can take care of the situation to the best of your skills and ability.
That's what we want to bring out is that survivor instinct and having that, turning that light switch on, and if yelling fire brings out that power and brings that out in a person, that's what we want. We want them to attack the attacker and get the heck out of there.
That's what I saw in the film. They weren't teaching the girls to just helplessly stand by and yell fire. You were teaching them to use fire as a ki, as a spirit call. While they were hitting the person, they were yelling fire, fire, fire. And it had the same bottom line.
Yelling fire is not a replacement for any technique. It's your internal call. It's your internal fire to come out and to say, not me. You're not going to take me. It's not going to happen, and you're going to do whatever it takes to not be taken to a second location and get the heck out of there.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to bring out, because when I actually saw that, when I first heard about it, I was a little not so happy, because I really do prefer something that's more empowering, and I also like to believe that if I face somebody and I yell, "Get away from me," or "Back up," or "No," I'm telling him that he hasn't found a weak, timid victim here, which is what so many attackers really like. And I actually wrote a piece on that on my Dear Safety Solution website called Where's the Fire? And I want to publicly say that I would like to rewrite that piece, and I would like to put in something about if you use fire as a spirit call, it doesn't matter what you yell. Yeah, I'd like you to be able to tell someone that they haven't found a victim, but that's really not what the bottom line is. The bottom line is breaking through your fear and panic and being strong about the techniques that you throw. And whatever you have to yell to do that is perfectly fine with me. And I think I will rewrite that piece and put in that little statement about it, because I was extremely impressed with the power and the strength that the girls were showing on the Just Yell Fire DVD. It was really a good thing to see. So now, Chad, if I redeem myself, I hope I have. You and Dallas just went to India this summer. Tell me a little about what happened in India.
We went to India for a 2-week tour through southern India. And we went to 12 different colleges and universities, bringing the Just Yell Fire program there. And one of the things that's a little bit different about India, they don't have a date rape problem, per se, that we would have here in the United States. Most of their marriages are arranged, and there's not a large dating time. But they do have a problem with the abduction of young girls that are sold into the slave trafficking industry.
Indeed.
Now, we haven't experienced slavery for a few hundred years here, in the United States. But what many people don't realize is the United Nations estimates there's more than 27 million slaves held captive worldwide.
Really?
So it may not be something that we are conscious of here in the States, but it's a very real problem, and it's a very real business. And there's close to 1 million abductions each year in India alone, and that's why one of the reasons we were invited to come.
There's also, by the way, there's a tremendous amount of street harassment of women. Because I have some friends that live over there, and if you get onto a public bus, you are very likely to be groped or touched in an inappropriate manner. You're quite often going to be, street harassment when you're walking down the street. If you're alone, if you're not with a man.
Taking the trains, they call it Eve teasing over there, and it's something that they experience quite a bit, and unfortunately, a lot of girls will stop their education because of that, because they need to take the buses or the trains to get to the university and go to an engineering college. But because of the teasing is so bad, they stop their education and stop going to the university because they don't want to be on the bus.
Exactly, and there's also a domestic violence situation over there that isn't it's not quite as severe in the larger cities, but out in the countryside where you have these wife burnings and so forth. And women are still struggling over there to get what we take, and we don't think it's always so great over here, but this is paradise compared to some of the other places in the world. And now, how did the program go over there? What was the reception like?
The reception was wonderful. We had depending on the university, anywhere from 300 to over 1,000 people in the audience at each time.
Wow.
We were there. And
how exciting.
Yeah, it was a great time. They were very reserved. They were very surprised at the statistics that were shown in the film, and they were very shocked at some of the problems we have here in the United States. They were very unaware of some of the violence and sexual predators and molesters that we have here. But they really liked the empowerment factor. They liked the simplicity of the techniques. We really went over with them to concentrate on the targets of the body, and which were the eyes and the ears and the groin. Because what happens is what's called vasoconstriction, and your body can freeze up. And, when they say he went white with fear, well, yes, he went white with fear. The blood vessels, actually start to contract and take the blood away from the skin, and you will do what you are programmed or reactively programmed to do, and you've been conditioned to do it. And, I give you, for instance, how many of us have ever dialed 911? I never have. I never have. My father just had a stroke on Valentine's Day, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery.
Oh, same here.
But his wife kept dialing 411.
Oh no!
When she was trying to call, because when you freeze up, you will reactively do what you've been conditioned to do, and we have all dialed 411 for information. And she kept calling it over and over.
That's why training is so important. You know what, Chad? We're coming up on our last break. Let's hold that thought. We come back. We got some more tips for you. Don't go away.
Have you ever thought about having your own internet talk show? Well, if you said yes, then click About Us. Then click Be a Host to get more information. Or just call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417.
Say that again?
480-294-6417. VoiceAmerica.com.
Hello, we're Mike and Susan.
Hello, I'm Catherine.
We are the March of Dimes 2008 National Ambassador family. Although Catherine was born extremely premature with many challenges, today she is a healthy 5-year-old thanks to the March of Dimes.
I'm Don Germano, Senior Vice President of Kmart Stores. Kmart is proud to support March of Dimes' mission to help moms have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. Please make a donation at any Kmart or at marchforbabies.org so that one day all babies are born healthy.
Divorce, child custody, support, and visitation, division of property, attorneys, court. Just the thought of divorce is stressful enough. Never mind the combative, destructive, and expensive process. Is there a better way? Yes, divorce mediation. On Divorce Mediation, Myths and Facts, host Philip Mulford, one of the country's top divorce mediators, will discuss this incredibly successful alternative. Formerly a practicing attorney, Philip will explore the myths and facts about a process that has kept his clients out of court and saved them thousands of dollars. If you aren't familiar with divorce mediation, or your lawyer has told you it's not appropriate for your case, this show is for you. After listening to Divorce Mediation, Myths and Facts, you'll tell anyone considering a divorce, go to mediation first. Divorce Mediation, changing the culture of divorce.
After more than 17 years' experience teaching safety skills to thousands of women and men, crime prevention and personal safety expert Susan Bartelstone concluded that by thinking and responding quickly, ideally within 20 seconds, potentially violent criminal encounters can be prevented. Using techniques from many different disciplines and illustrated by 60 real-life examples and success stories, Susan shows how it's done in her new book, Think Fast and Prevent a Violent Crime, How to Respond to Danger in 20 Seconds or Less. Check out www.fightsafe.com FightSafe.com for more information. You'll also find information there on Susan's upcoming Crime Prevention 101 personal safety teleseminars. Think fast, talk fast, fight smart, which stress the many opportunities you have to deter or defuse a criminal encounter and how to use your brains instead of your muscles in a fight. Look for the new book information or sign up for Susan Bartelstone's personal safety seminars at www.fightsafe.com today.
News, opinion, your voice counts. Call toll-free 1-866-472-5787. 1-866-472-5787. VoiceAmerica.com.
You're listening to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone. We invite you to share your stories, tips, or suggestions for topics you'd like us to cover, and Susan will address some of these on future shows. Send your story or idea to solutions@fightsafe.com. That email address again is solutions@fightsafe.com. Now back to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartelstone.
Welcome back. We're coming up on our last segment. I'm talking with Chad Von Dette from the Just Yell Fire Self-Defense Group. And again, show notes are going to be posted on my DearSafetySolutions.com website. You've got JustYellFire.org website. Make sure to check out my Facebook page. Be my follower. Be my friend. I post tons of crime prevention information there. I've got videos there. I think I'm going to do some stuff about the Dating Bill of Rights. I'm going to post it up there and give you a link to Just Yell Fire. Chad, we had to kind of cut off a little abruptly. You were talking about what you're conditioned to do, and in an emergency, instead of dialing 911, your mom was dialing 411.
411, and yes, and. So one way to help this reaction is obviously turn your cell phone off so you don't actually call 911, but then dial 911 send, 911 send, and do it over and over with your family. So in the event that there is an emergency and you do panic, and it's okay. It's okay to have those feelings, but you'll be able to reactively call the right number and get help there as soon as you can.
That is the benefit of training. That's exactly why you want to give people self-defense and personal safety training and all the rest of this. I want to give some tips, but before we do, how can someone find the Just Yell Fire class to take, and how can they get this certification training?
Well, our next certification training we're doing is in Phoenix, Arizona in March, and we are touring the United States. One of the ways to find a local resource is as we train more trainers and certify, we're putting them on the Just Yell Fire website as a local resource. So say somebody in the Denver, Colorado area is looking for somebody in their community that has this program, they're able to get their kids involved in a self-defense program that isn't going to take years, but it will engage the children. It'll go over the dating rights, give them, lesson plans, break them into groups to, discuss things, be able to do the posters, and really give them the awareness and the safety tips that they need in a great program. And obviously they'll get the video as well, so they can take that home and have that on the shelf. And hopefully we can stamp out the fact that 1 in 4 girls in middle school are date raped by the time they finish college. We can hopefully eliminate that statistic.
And I get an amen, absolutely. And how can someone get certified? And by the way, are you going to be in New York? You better give me a call when you're in New York.
I sure will.
I want to come down and sit in on and have coffee.
And absolutely. And if they want to, the program to come to their area, go to Just Yell Fire. We have, people that are requesting the program in their areas, and we're hoping to get some other big sponsorships here to make it convenient as well for our travel. So
great. And one of the things I always say, one self-defense program isn't enough. You got to take one a year, because otherwise you're going to forget. You got that muscle memory trained. You got your awareness skills training, but if you don't use it, it's like your mom. She knew to dial 911, but she'd never done it, and she dialed 411 instead. You got to take at least one program a year. And I like to say, there are different programs with different slants. Get a variety of training.
Yeah,
and,
repetition is the mother of skill.
Exactly.
So you have to do it more than once.
Exactly. You have some really good stuff, good dating safety tips here. I like some of this stuff. Let's do a couple more of the dating safety tips. You say here, consider double dating the first few times that you go out with a new person. That's really good advice. All right, I like that. And let's see what we have. Before leaving on a date, know the exact plans for the evening, and make sure a parent or a friend knows these plans. Really important. And let your date know that you're expected to call or tell somebody that you're. In other words, if someone knows you're expected, that might put a damper on any other plans that they're having if they have some not nice plans. And make sure that you call when you're supposed to call. Right? Be aware of your decreased ability to react under the influence of drugs or alcohol. I bet you hear that a lot, Chad. That was a factor in stuff happening.
Well, it's unfortunately just a part of our society. But if we're able to educate our children to make better decisions and give them the awareness of the dangers that are out there, so they can be kids and have fun, because this world is a much more violent place than it was when I grew up as a child.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to make it less violent, and if we can touch as many people, and there's so many people out there teaching great self-defense programs, and the more that we have on board, the more of a difference we can make.
That's right. Here's another great tip, Chad. If you leave a party with someone you do not know well, make sure you tell another person you are leaving and with whom. And ask a friend to call and make sure you arrived home safely. That is just so important, and it's just not something that you normally think of, especially when you're at a party, if you've had a drink. And I'm not talking about you 11-year-olds out there.
Right.
All right.
Not.
And although I know that there are some people drinking, but I'm talking about maybe some older people who might be listening. Assert yourself when necessary. Be firm and straightforward in your relationships, and trust your instincts. Fantastic. Well, Chad, we're coming down to the end. I thank you so very much for this. We're definitely going to be staying in touch. Now, again, JustYellFire.com is the website. I also want to make, I don't know if you knew this, but February 2nd through 6th was Teen Dating, Violence, and Prevention Week. And there are some resources here, ovw.usdoj.gov, and loveisrespect.org has some really good material on this for you. That's ovw.usdoj.gov. The Youth Violence Prevention Resource Center, which is part of the National Criminal Justice Reference Service, has teen dating violence fact sheets and articles. It's ncjrs.gov/teen dating violence. That was ncjrs.gov/teen dating violence. Got the National Center for Victims of Crime Dating Violence Resource Center, and there's a Teen Victim Project and the Dating Violence Resource Center, and that's NC like Charlie, V Victor, C Charlie.org. All those are great resources. Those are going to be posted on my DeerSafetySolutions.com website. If you'd like to hear any past episodes of Crime Prevention 1, you can go right to my host page on the VoiceAmerica.com website, and all the past shows are archived there, as well as on my Deer Safety Solutions website. I'm posting a link to the Just Yell Fire website also on my website, so you can find it very easily. Don't forget to go to the Safety Pages section on my website, because I've got a lot of safety tips for you. I've got that Just Yell, where's the fire tip that I'm going to redo. Don't forget, if you've got a question you'd like to ask about today's show or anything like that, or if you got a concern you'd like me to answer, solutions@fightsafe.com. Just email me. I will help you work that situation out. Next week, we're going to be going live again. I'm going to be talking to one of America's foremost legal experts on sex abuse and domestic violence. She was the former chief of the New York City Sex Crimes Prosecution Unit, now best-selling author, Linda Fairstein. She was known as Hell on Heels. I'm going to tell you why next week. So you know what? It'd be a crime not to listen. So stay tuned and stay safe.
We hope you got some useful information and inspiration this week on Crime Prevention 101. Susan Bartelstone invites you to join us again next Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on Voice America. Have a great weekend and a safe weekend.